Welcome to Mason Conservation District's workshop, Sustainable Landscaping with Native Plants. In this video, we'll discuss what sustainable landscaping is, why it's important to use native plants, and design tips and landscaping strategies. Let's begin with what sustainable landscaping is. We can look at it from both an ecological and economic perspective. Sustainable landscaping is how well your landscape matches local ecology, how your landscape affects your ecological footprint, and how much it costs to maintain your landscape. The first step for planning to create your sustainable landscape is to set clear goals. Some restoration goals you might have include having a large plant diversity, replacing invasive plant species, or creating a wildlife-friendly habitat. You should also consider your landscaping goals, which could include creating your optimal views, adding color to your yard, or creating shade. You might consider planning out your landscaping space so that it is clear what areas you want to use, what your desired views will be, and where pathing throughout the site will be. There are several actions that you can take to create your own sustainable landscape. It's important to note that implementing a sustainable landscape is not an all-or-nothing approach. The combination of small changes in mini gardens can make a significant impact. Plants native to your area are excellent for gardening and landscaping. Native plants are part of the balance of nature that has developed over hundreds or thousands of years in a particular region or ecosystem. This makes native plants beneficial for many reasons. They're low maintenance once established, can protect your property from erosion and weeds, filter stormwater, provide food and habitat for wildlife, conserve natural resources, and save you money. Make sure to give your native plants the best chance at survival by removing invasive species like Scotch broom. Invasive plants take up nutrients and can compete out natives. Installing native plants with proper spacing can also help reduce weeds in your yard. Eliminating or reducing traditional lawn by using native grasses or plants can be extremely beneficial as well. Traditional lawns often need extra maintenance through watering and fertilizers. They are also much less efficient at absorbing stormwater as seen in this photo. The water not absorbed that passes along hard surfaces such as roofs or driveways will become polluted and end up in local waterways. There are several ways that you can manage stormwater. You can collect rainwater from your roof in a rain barrel, amend your garden soil to improve absorption and water retention, use permeable surfaces such as small stone or gravel to allow for water to absorb into the soil, or create a rain garden. Rain gardens work by collecting stormwater in a depressed section of the landscaped area. This slows down movement of the water and allows for the plants in the garden to take up some of the water and for the rest to absorb into the soil where pollutants are filtered out. A local example of a great rain garden is at PUD No. 3 and Johns Prairie in Shelton. This landscaped area is composed of about 90% native species and accents. And as you can see, it does a great job of keeping the water contained so it doesn't flood the parking lot. You can further reduce your ecological footprint by using locally sourced materials in your landscape. This helps support the local economy and decreases the material's travel distance. You may also choose to use salvaged hardscape materials, which is also more budget-friendly. Collecting and using landscape byproducts, such as shredding leaves for mulch or composting vegetative debris to mix into the soil, can help improve the structure of your soil and reduce runoff. Home gardens are small pieces of a larger ecosystem, which makes them great for supporting beneficial wildlife. Using plants that provide nectar and pollen-rich blossoms and edible berries and seeds will give great food resources to pollinators and other small animals. Plants also provide shade and cover for wildlife and nest-making materials for birds. You can also choose to provide a water source, such as a bird bath or butterfly puddler. To benefit local pollinators, use plants that will bloom in each season. This chart shows a variety of plants and in which season that they provide valuable nectar and pollen resources. Some of these are also butterfly host plants, which means that they need that plant in order for the larvae or adults to live. You might consider minimizing light pollution in your landscape by opting for low-energy fixtures with light color and brightness to avoid interference with nighttime wildlife. To limit overall landscape lighting, you may also choose to put lights on a motion sensor to only brightly illuminate an area when needed. When it comes to using native plants, you can buy them in containers or as bare roots or cuttings. Each has its advantages and disadvantages. Container stock is generally the largest form you can buy. It is also more expensive and heavy to move, especially if you are planting a site that is somewhat remote. However, container stock is available year-round from nurseries and can be left in the pot for a long period of time. The best time of year to plant container stock is in the fall. Bare root plants are basically the plants with all of the soil removed from around their roots. They are therefore easy to move around and light in weight. They are generally only available in the winter to early spring when the plants are dormant. Bare root stock is vulnerable to die off if not planted quickly. The roots can't be allowed to dry out, so they should be kept in a wet bucket or in a damp soil until planted. You shouldn't need to amend your soils prior to planting native plants. Native plants will adapt to the natural soil conditions as long as you place them in the correct type of soil. You will need to take care of these plants for at least the first 2 summers, keeping them watered until their roots are established. Add a thick layer of mulch around the plant after planting, making sure that it's not touching the stem. This will help to control soil moisture and will provide some nutrients as the mulch breaks down. Choose and locate plants based on their eventual mature size to avoid pruning. Select plants with different mature heights to create more interest in the landscape. Choosing the right plant for the right site conditions will help keep your plants thriving. If planting in a rain garden, there are 3 zones that should be kept in mind when planting. Zone 1 is for the wettest part of the garden, Zone 2 is for plants that can tolerate occasional standing water, and Zone 3 is the driest part of the garden. For wet locations, choose plants such as red osier dogwood, deer fern, or salmonberry. These would also do well in Zone 1 of a rain garden. Plants such as tall Oregon grape, snowberry, and swordfern do well in sites that are occasionally wet or Zone 2 of a rain garden. For a dry area or Zone 3 of a rain garden, consider using plants such as red flowering currant, mock orange, or vine maple. If you're interested in learning more about the design, planting, and maintenance of rain gardens, visit our YouTube page and watch our rain garden video. Each year, Mason Conservation District has a native plant sale. We offer a variety of native trees and shrubs for conservation purposes such as wildlife habitat, windbreaks, hedgerows, reforestation, and stream enhancement. They also work great on home and garden projects. The majority of the plants offered are bare root stock. Plants are selling out quickly, but we still have a variety of options available. This year, we're selling several trees, including the western red cedar. This evergreen tree grows to be 60 to 100 feet tall. It has lustrous dark green foliage and may be planted under existing canopies on moist sites. Western red cedars also intercept over 6,000 gallons of stormwater runoff per year. Oregon white oak grows to be about 75 feet tall. It enjoys dry to moist, well-drained, gravelly soils in full sun to partial shade. Once established, it provides good habitat for many species of birds and mammals. Western white pine is an evergreen tree that grows to be 100 feet tall. It has light bluish-green, slender and flexible needles. It prefers well-drained to moist soils. Western hemlock is moderately fast-growing and can reach about 160 feet tall at maturity. The branches droop with deep green needles. This evergreen tree is shade-tolerant and is found in fairly dry to wet sites. We also have a variety of shrubs available. Red flowering currant can grow to be 3 to 10 feet tall. Hummingbirds are attracted to the pale pink to deep red flowers that bloom from March to June. It grows in clearings and open forest areas that remain dry. Mock orange grows to be 8 to 12 feet tall. It has beautifully fragrant white flowers and arching green branches. It's highly adaptable and grows in most locations. Mountain balm is an attractive evergreen ornamental shrub that is about 10 feet tall. It has fragrant white flowers and is a host plant and nectar source for butterflies. It prefers sunny or partially shaded conditions. Pacific ninebark grows to be 10 to 15 feet tall. The arching branches hold small white flower clusters. It prefers wet, somewhat open sites. Shiny leaf spirea is a low-growing deciduous shrub that gets to be about 3 feet tall. It grows small white flowers in flat-topped clusters in May to July. It does well in sun to part shade with moist soil. If you're interested in learning more, visit our website and go to our conservation landscaping page. You'll find plant guides, native plant photos and descriptions, and more. We hope that you take this information to create your own sustainable landscape to care for and enjoy.